Greetings and welcome back to New York City, where it's a beautiful Memorial Day outside. The block is quiet, which is always amazing on Memorial Day. I'm home today because I can't really walk. Wearing a big old cast on my leg because I broke my ankle. That's okay. I'm getting a lot of work done. And today we are going to do an unboxing video on that. Sonny Rollins Contemporary Records Albums, 70th Anniversary Series, Way Out West, Sonny Rollins and the Contemporary Leaders, and Alternate Takes. I've only seen the Alternate Takes album a few times. It's got kind of an odd, I believe, black and white cover with a weird sort of script. But anyway, deluxe 3LP set, 180-gram vinyl pressed at RTI, all analog mastering from the original stereo tapes by Bernie Grundman. 32-page booklet features vintage photos and extensive new liner notes by Grammy Award-winning music historian Ashley Kahn, surely one of the greatest writers in jazz today. I think he wrote that amazing book, The House That Coltrane book, the house that Coltrane built, the story of Impulse Records. And featuring jazz lessons, Barney Kessel, Hampton Hawes, Leroy Vinegar, Shelley Mann. I will be doing a video upcoming with the producer of this set, Nick Phillips, and Ashley Kahn. So that should be really exciting. That'll be a couple weeks yet. I don't know when this is coming out. I think a lot of people have already ordered it. So there's the back. It's pretty thick. It feels weighty, and the cover is done in what I think of rich, warm red leatherette, which may become a little more apparent after I take off the shrink. But you know, Kraft does really, really beautiful packaging on all their box sets. And as Nick Phillips told me, if you want these box sets, there's so many box sets, you can't buy all these things. I'm lucky enough to get them occasionally if I review them. And I review them sometimes for Stereophile, sometimes not. But I bring them to you on this channel, and I try to do an honest review. I have Way Out West and the Contemporary Leaders. I'll do a one-on-one comparison. I'm not the biggest fan of Way Out West in the world, to tell you the truth. I think Sonny Rollins' choice of material can sometimes be a little odd. But that's part of his genius and part of his brilliance. My favorite Sonny Rollins include Blue Note 1542, which I think is a top-to-bottom masterpiece, with, I believe, Lee Morgan on trumpet and Max Roach on drums. That's just an incredible record. His solos on that record and those tunes sound entirely current to me. I also love Saxophone Colossus, Work Time, Freedom Now Suite. Those are all just marvelous, marvelous records. Now, there is a train of thought that in the 70s he sort of fell off. He brought in more of a commercial pop band, had Steve Jordan on drums. But the power and the beauty and the majesty of Sonny Rollins' saxophone playing never diminished, never changed. I'm also a big fan of Live with Vanguard. What else? At the Metro Inn is really great, on RCA, I believe, or on Metro Jazz. I absolutely adore the Record Store Day release. It's a double or triple record set from a couple years ago. Sonny Rollins Live in Holland. And I talk about this record all the time. It's an amazing document of Sonny going to Holland, playing with Han Bennick, and I forgot the bass player's name, but players who were more avant-garde leaning than musicians in the U.S. at that time, or rather they were influenced by the more free players in the U.S. at that time, like Milford Graves and all the guys on ESP. That is just an incredible record. I don't know why it's not more popular. You know, to a degree, I think, I've said it before, other people have said it, we're in a golden era, a truly golden era of jazz being reissued on vinyl. And we really need to be cognizant of that. After a few, starts and spurts, which really began with Blue Note doing the 75th anniversary series, it just exploded with Tone Poet and Analog Productions from Chad Kassams and all the Kraft stuff and all the OJC stuff. So if you want these things, you should buy them and hang on to them, because as I was meaning to say a while back, Nick Phillips said it's hard to repress a lot of these things because of the the quality issues are just so high, and it's so demanding to do this. And now with such a overflow of vinyl being pressed and demanded, and Taylor Swift hogging up the pressing plants, if you see it and it's available, buy it. Yeah, we live in a really golden era of record reissues, and we should be really happy about it. And the Sonny Rollins in Holland, I think some people didn't sound as wonderful as they would have liked. You know, there are varying degrees of quality on some of these reissues. Everything Kraft does is from original master tapes cut in the studio, so they all sound fantastic. I talked about the Bertha Bop 6 10-inch LP set, 10-inch EP set a while ago. That sounded absolutely phenomenal, but it is from the late 50s rather than the early 50s up to the mid 50s, so it's not going to sound, you know, I was conversing with some guys in my audiophile group this morning. You know, Rudy Van Gelder, from what I understand, is really the pioneer of the close miking system, which is still in use today. Before that, if you go back to the big band era, it's just one mic. Everything's in mono. It's one mic to catch everything. But Rudy began close miking, and that was, I think, seen as, you know, heresy back in the day. Granted, the Beatles were already doing it, another innovation of George Martin, but there's a reason those Blue Note records sound so present. And same thing with the Roy Dunan records. You know, they were recording most of the contemporary records back in the warehouse with all those albums in thick cardboard boxes, so the sound is dead and warm. So there are some records coming out now that are cut from original tapes, which were done in clubs. The quality is varying on some of those. Some of those are great. Some of those are not great. And you wonder, why did they reissue this? But for me, the Sonny Rollins and Holland being a great example, the sound is fine. Most of those were done at recording sessions, at radio stations. So the sound is just fantastic. And I urge you to check out Sonny Rollins and Holland. What a fantastic document. But let's get down to opening this up. I have my trusty blade. Let's see where we can cut this with the least pain to small children and small animals, and the warm red leatherette casing. The sound of the hype sticker being ripped from the box. Okay. Oh, I think when I take the plastic off, you'll get a better idea of what I'm talking about. It's even got an obi. Can you see that grain? It has very much a leatherette, perhaps a naugahyde grain imprint texture. Oh, there you can see it. It's really nice. And take off the obi. Everything looks great. I see no split seams. This is beautifully done. There's a little dent here on the back. I don't know if you can see that, but that is minimal. It doesn't go through. Beautiful script. You can feel the embossed on the surface. Really, really beautifully done. This is quality. Let's open it up. The fold out. We have the 3 records. Oh, Alternate Takes has a different cover. Way Out West. And let's see if they replicate. Beautiful sleeve. Let's see if they replicate, and they do, the original black and yellow labels. Vinyl looks beautiful. You know, I remember Music Matters, you would occasionally get vinyl, and it had like a weird white shadow cast. I never knew what the heck that was. But beautiful sleeves, anti-static, archival quality. What else to say here? Non-scratching, anti-static, archival quality. These are really beautiful sleeves. These are the kind of sleeves you want to see on a box set like this that you're paying mucho dinero for. So there's Way Out West. Beautiful, definitely a heavy jacket, much heavier than any OJC or cheap import. I remember, I've never actually seen an an original of Way Out West, even at the store. Sonny Rollins and the Contemporary Leaders. Barney Castle, Hampton Hawes, Leroy Vinegar, Shelley Mann. Victor Feldman, 1959. The text looks really great. They did a really good screen print or scan or whatever you want to call it. I think the cover looks wonderful. And I obviously, when I was talking about alternate takes, I was thinking of some sort of a weird reissue. You know, we tend to forget in the early 70s when jazz popularity sort of died in the US, it didn't die anywhere else. So you had labels like Ace, Affinity, Applause, all these cheap budget labels doing reissues, and they did them as cheaply as possible. So they would come up with weird alternate covers. It's a very strange period that most people probably don't remember if you're not very old, if you're not as old as someone like me, of seeing all these cheap reissues. But sometimes they sound good. Some of the stuff on Affinity, which I think was a UK label, sounded pretty good. Here's the cool little booklet, Go West. It's not a big booklet. You usually get these big floppy booklets, and I actually kind of like this. It's easy to read. On the inside we have information from the release sheet. I'll read some of that. And some more information there. Once again, that's there. You can really see the texture of the finish, the wet leatherette, as I like to call it. Temporary record, 8481 Melrose Place, Los Angeles, California. The phone number was Olive 31560. Monophonic M3564 and stereophonic S7564. You could get either version. June 9th, 1959. And so I guess this was the, I don't know what this is, because this isn't the information that's on the back. There's a few paragraphs here. Anyway, these are not liner notes. Sonny Rollins is not only a leading man on his instrument, he's one of the most influential and most important voices in jazz today. He combines the harmonic and rhythmic development of the new jazz, with the warm, melodic, basic style of the preceding swing period. He has reinstated a hot sound on tenor and has vitality, musicianship, and inventiveness in abundance. And on the other side, quote from Sonny, I can say this now about those albums on Contemporary. Way Out West was a unique concept album that broke away rules and was different. Sonny Rollins and the Contemporary Leaders was more about East and West coming together. I hear more of LA in that one and what I fell in love with without there. So those are obviously quotes from present day Sonny Rollins, who is thankfully still alive. Let's see what we have in the booklet. Cool black and white shot. Liner notes. An often seen photograph. I wonder if there was was it Alfred Lion or Francis Wolff? I think it was Alfred Lion who took all those photographs of the Blue Note sessions. Perhaps that wasn't as big a deal at Contemporary, but there are a few nice photographs here within the copious liner notes by Ashley Kahn. Sonny Rollins Goes West, August 10th, 2021, as told to Ashley Kahn. This must be, yep, so this is an in-depth interview with Sonny Rollins, I believe. Talking about Roy Dunan, the different groups he had early on, where he was born. Talks about each one of the musicians. This is great. I mean, this is amazing. We can still, you know, we can't interview Hank Mobley or Miles Davis, but Sonny Rollins is still with us. What a blessing. This is interesting at the end. Sonny Rollins says, I believe in karma. I believe we're progressing from one incarnation to the next because there are souls in this world which I have known. We're all on our journeys. We're like-minded, and a lot of us have learned and improved and attained. That's why I can have a relationship with certain people, and with others I can't. Les Koenig, the founder and owner of Contemporary, was a person who was definitely on a positive journey and a really nice guy. It was a pleasure to have known him. And here's a few photos of Sonny Rollins with Henry Grimes. Pretty low on bluster and ballyhoo. Just a great interview with Sonny Rollins, Ashley Kahn writing about the record, and I can't wait to put this on the platter and give it a spin. Thanks for watching. If you like what I'm trying to attempt here, please push that like button and subscribe. I certainly would appreciate it.